live, and we are back playing Satisfactory, where last time we were working on this supercomputer factory, and specifically we're having oil troubles. So, this oil is gonna run out. It's been running out in between train deliveries pretty much most of the time. So, we need to fix that. Now, first thing that I can do to maybe make this a little bit better is currently this fluid buffer. No, this is probably fine. So this fluid buffer is attached at the same point as the train pipe merges in with the local pipe, which means that that can handle 600 and that can handle 600. So when there's excess, this will fill up. So that should actually be fine for basically what I want that to do is that the extra production from the local pipe that we don't need can go in there and fill it up while the trains are missing, so that can keep the oil going a little bit longer. But I think the actual solution we're going to need to do is we're going to need to figure out what exactly is wrong with the oil, and so we're going to have to head over there and fix it. And this is probably going to involve just adding more onto the train network. It might also have to involve expanding the train network in order to hold more total capacity, because it might be that like the train network is sending to a bunch of different places and that's limiting the throughput to any one place, and we might have like hit that limit. But we should be able to fix that theoretically. Just make our way over there. Past the limestone, past the water, and oil. So, these are... This is the input side and it's getting plenty of oil. This is the output side and it's not filling up very fast. So my first thought is that it might just be that we have exceeded what this number of pipes can handle, because we only have one pipe per thing. And yes, there's actually something here, and it's going to take some input and not get all filled up, despite the fact that we have another several thousand over here. So that step one, I think, will be adding a second row of pipes up here. So those are all in. And then we want all of these to be connected up as well, just so they will balance a little bit. And I don't think we'll need to connect the top rows and the bottom rows together. I think this should be fine. So with that done, then the next question is going to be the actual total crude oil input. And how that is looking. So I want to wait for a train to show up and figure out how much this fills. Because we might need like extra fluid buffers in here. Let's actually pop those in. It's not gonna hurt anything to have them. So this is purely just for in the case that we eventually expand production to the point that the input is getting like this whole thing is getting saturated sometimes when lots come at once, then we can fill up this. Alright, so that is a train going somewhere carrying oil, but doesn't need a refill. So when exactly is the next train coming to refill us here? So we definitely do not have a full setup here. So that is water incoming. That is hard to tell. Let's see this. Alright, so this is the one that's all the way over here, so it's going to be coming in from that side, wherever it is. So we're just going to have to hang around and see if... I mean, it's clearly a problem, right? Like, this is not filled at all, and it's just sitting there pointlessly, doing very little. And the supercomputer train is already coming back, and I don't see any oil trains in sight. So I think we're just going to have to add more oil onto the train network. And hopefully a lot of it. I wonder if there's anywhere we can go where we just can upgrade instead of having to find new stuff. Probably not for oil, but it's worth a shot. So yeah, the ACU oil is going to show up, then the supercomputer oil is going to show up right after that, and then it's not going to get any because this is going to fill up. Alright, that's not good. So yeah, this is going to take all the oil for the adaptive control units, and then by the time that one comes back here, there will be none left. So I don't know where the actual proper oil delivery trains are, but you'd think they would exist somewhere. So there's that one all the way up there, and we do have plenty of nodes up in that area that we can grab. And there's another one down here, which I think we already got. I don't even know where that station is, but somewhere... Oh, is that? No, that's Caterium. That's limestone. Who knows? I could have sworn we had a second oil source. And I wish there was a convenient way to check. Alright, what do we do? I guess we should head up north and see what's going on up there. Actually, where is that train? Okay, it's there. Is it full or not? That's the question. If that train is full, we're going to have to add another one on. If it isn't, then we're going to have to figure something else out. If the train isn't full, then it's fine. We can just expand the oil production. If it is full, then we're going to have to add a second train on to carry even more oil, which is probably fine. Let's go out and try to just intercept it. If we fly this way, we should make it there first. Alright, and it's gonna come along here. And we just need to land on it and check its inventories real quick. First car is full. Second car, full. Third car, full. Full. And full. Okay. That means we are going to have to add another train. And then we're going to have to investigate if there's spare production up there. So let's get back to our hypertube cannon so that we can launch ourselves up north. Off we go. And we just slide jump along until we get there. Past the coal. And a little bit further. Almost there. Alright, here we are. Hypertube cannon. And we want you to go... Can I grab a hypertube? There we go. We want to take that one. I think it's like marginally better. It's not great though. Neither of them are facing exactly the right direction. I'm trying to just go this way. And now we fly on over. Alright, now we're here, and this looks like this is filling up fully between train loads, and like with quite a gap too. Alright, so what we need is to just put in a second train on this. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you are going to be labeled Northern Oil 2. And we're going to have to find this stuff. So you go there. And there. And I want to just go in this direction. And do we actually just have this wait until it's full? Yeah, I think so. So I think by doing it that way, we'll make sure it'll prevent a situation where the two go like right back to back and then one of them only is partially full. We're gonna have to track down the other Northern Oil train and do the same fix. Alright. So that all loads up. And should be good to go. And hopefully that'll just straight up double our oil production. Or throughput. Not production, but throughput, obviously. And then in the meantime we have this. Which still has a lot in it and is still filling up pretty quick. How much is this? It is... looks like 3 reel pipes and 1 pump pipe. Alright, so that is 600, 1200, 1800 oil. We might want to add more in. Is there a reason for building all these platforms this high in the sky? Kind of. So building it this high means that I never have to worry about terrain no matter where on the map I go. So even if I'm like over the center of the map where it's pretty taller or like over there by that mountain, I can still just have nice flat stuff without trees and mountains and stuff in the way. But it is frankly overkill, and I could have built it a lot lower down and it would be fine. But it's a situation where by the time I realized that it was overkill and how annoying it was going to be this high up, it was too late, and we'd already built a lot up here. So we're just stuck up here now. Okay, so yeah, let's drop down and add another couple of crude oil nodes onto this. Just to make sure that we actually have enough. Oh, and I need to drag pipes for that, so I may as well do that now while I'm up here. Alright, so we're just gonna take the pipe off of this, have it go back here, and down into the ground. And then this can go over, and we're gonna need a wall to build this on. So there we go. And then this goes down onto that wall. And now we just have to build the wall all the way down. And bring the pipe with it. So down we go. Until eventually we make it down to the ground. And then we can attach more oil up. Am I just building straight over this ladder? I am. Probably shouldn't be doing that. Probably also isn't really going to hurt anything. I don't use ladders anymore since I have hover packs. So this just keeps going down. And down come the pipes. A little bit further. Okay, that's Mark 1 pipe. You all need to be Mark 2. And we keep going down. We're making good progress now. We shouldn't be that far away. Alright, so now we go up here. And this comes down. Alright, just a couple more wall sections. And then we'll be at the ground and we'll have to just find the crude oil and attach it all up. Okay, this comes down here. And alright, now we are at ground level. We have to connect it up to that so that it's all head lifted. And then we go just a bit to the east to grab some more crude oil. So this comes over here, and we fall out of the sky because I don't have power heading this way. So let's bring power poles along with us. Alright, just a little bit further, and I think that, is that an oil patch or just a shadow? That's just a shadow. Where are the oil patches? They're on the other side of these rocks. Okay, there they are. There's one, there's the other. Alright, so, oil extractor. Oil extractor. Where's that power line that I had? Here you are. Connect up to some buildings. And there we go. So now we need to throw some power shards in these to make them go fast. We need a lot of oil. Alright, so that's going to be an additional 450 oil, which coincidentally is the amount approximately that the supercomputer factory needs. So I think we might go a bit further than that, just so that we have spare for future factories. And in case we were short to begin with, having extra would help. But let's see, the next bit of oil is over there. Now, this is probably fine. If there were another oil patch right in that general vicinity, I would hook it up. But if I'm going to have to head all the way over there for it, probably just not worth it. Alright, so now we fly up here. And we can hopefully make sure that the trains are going fast enough now. I know that the traffic has slowed things down a lot. Oh, Azak001, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. We are building a supercomputer factory, and currently we're just off fixing the crude oil production, which turned out to not be sufficient. Now, is this a good spot to make that connection? It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Now, how are all these doing? That's only filling at 300. That's filling at 450. Okay, so all of these are still in the process of filling when the next train comes around. And this is Northern Oil 2, so it's back. I must have missed Northern Oil 1 at some point. Because it definitely should have made its journey first. So we're gonna probably just wait for it to come back around again. Let's see, where is that train? It was labeled, right? Yes, there it is. Is it going in to this setup now? I believe so. Alright, so Northern Oil 2 has filled up and is headed off. That's a good sign. That was pretty quick. And now this is filling up. How fast is it filling? We have 600 plus 300. That's 900. That's 1350. This is going to be another 600, which is 1950. And this is 300, so 2200. Or no, this is another 450, it looks like. Alright, so in that case, we're almost certainly getting enough oil now, because we were at like 1800 before. And we added 600, so we'd expect to be at 2400, which it looks like we might be somewhere around there. Hard to say for certain, but it's definitely a lot higher than it was. So I'm happy with that. And are these going to all fill up before the new train gets here? Let's see, so the center two are lower, and then this outer one is the lowest. But they only have to get up to like 1600 in order to be full enough for the next train. So it's probably fine. It's probably fine, and then it's just a question of whether or not there is even enough oil in the system to begin with. Which there should be. Unless something has gone horribly wrong. Alright, so the Northern Oil train is making its way back. We're gonna, I guess, try to intercept it. So we're just gonna head down this way. And we need to mess with its settings just a little bit so that it works better. Alright, this train here is some other thing. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, cool. Alright. Scammer has been dealt with. Not terribly surprising. Alright. And we move on. We just gotta find that train, which you'd think would be on its way back north by now. Unless it's... Okay, I think it's just a very inefficient path to get here, which is a shame. But it should be coming up this way soon. Because we're basically already back at the hub, and I don't see it. It's another random unrelated train. So that is water, that's Northern Oil 2, that's Northern Oil 1. So it is making its way towards the roundabout now. Alongside a couple other random trains, which are doing different things. So are you the one? No, you are modular engine oil. Oh, it's probably you? There's so many things on the thing that it's hard to tell. Oh, I meant to open the train menu. Yes. So, we want to go to you and edit this to be fully unloaded and wait for 0 seconds. Save changes. And now you can go off, and that'll just make sure, again, that we don't have situations where one train ends up following immediately behind the other and not picking up anything. So if that does end up happening, it'll just have to wait in the station for a little bit to fill up, which should resolve that issue. Okay, now we can check back on this side, which should be receiving approximately twice the amount of oil as it was a moment ago. And there have been multiple oil deliveries during that time. So this is... it is filling up. The problem is just that there are so many trains that need oil and not all that many trains that use it. Alright, so then that is going to do its thing. And we do have a couple hundred in these by this point. So these are now starting to empty. Alright, now that train is gone, and it got like, what, half filled-ish? Yeah, a little less than half across the board. And then immediately another oil train for ACUs. Well, that doesn't... probably not a good sign for this one. It's hardly going to get any, obviously, because it's only just started filling. In the meantime, this has emptied out. There's already another train here for aluminum. And now we're just relying on these last couple hundreds to keep it going. Yikes. This is a problem. So the problem is that there are a bunch of trains which need oil that are all coming in quick succession and using up all the oil. So these extra stockpiles here are helping a little bit, but not really. We just need the trains to actually show up down here. And we might potentially need like a third train filling up with oil. Alright, so the original Northern Oil train is making its way back down. So that should help. And also, since all of these trains are set to only pick up oil when they're empty, hopefully the fact that they're getting filled more will mean that they don't actually visit as often and we can stabilize out a little bit. I don't know if that'll actually happen though. Alright, so that is empty. The oil distributor is mostly empty. These buffers are running out quickly. And the ridiculously convoluted journey to get here is definitely causing problems. So I could make it marginally better. So if we just go here, I don't know if this is actually a good idea, if this will actually help, or if it'll just make congestion and traffic weird again, which is definitely something that might happen. But if I just put an intersection in there and then just connect it back up to this, alright, so let's get this intersection functional. Alright, we don't actually need that side because it's not connected to anything. We do need that side. Okay, and there comes the train. Alright, and then we also need this to go straight through, like so. And we're going to need a path signal there, and a block signal there. Alright, so half of this intersection is useless, but that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, we're just going to connect this up to here, like that. And I think we might need to put path signals in here as well. So you're a path signal. I think you probably have to be a path signal. And let's see, I think you have to be a path signal. Okay, but why did they do that though? They had the option of simply not doing that. Oh, re-rail. Turn on self-driving. Off you go. How did they even... It didn't even... What are you doing? Why are you here? Okay. So what we actually need to do is turn off self-driving. Can you just back up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why it decided to just go through the intersection. Maybe I placed the intersection while it was waiting at it, and that caused it to see that, like, for a split second there wasn't an intersection, so it moved, despite the fact that that was a bad idea. It's got to be that, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. Alright, now this path signal is waiting for you to get through, I guess. That makes sense. Okay, there's a mysterious unlabeled train doing that. Now, what? Where are you going? You're aluminum oil. Alright, so you are trying to get over there as well. Oh, did I just not turn self-driving back on? No, I did. Alright, so why are you not moving? Have you considered going somewhere instead of just sitting here uselessly? Let's see. Waiting for path reservation. Alright, so again, it might be a problem with weird stuff happening while it was sitting here. So we are going to scoot you a little bit forwards. Turn on self-driving. And... Alright, still not working. How about even a little more? So you can just go... Okay, no, you can't. Why are you like this? Alright, so we back up. Probably back up too much. And we just can't take that intersection for some reason. Is it not connected right somehow? Did placing the other thing, like, somehow break it? Alright, so we back up to here. We hop out. Alright, let's take that out and put it back in. Alright, now if we drive this, we still just go straight forwards and through for no reason. Alright, why must you be like this, train network? Okay, well, I can just dismantle the center, because there's no reason to ever go that way. Now it has to turn right. Yes, alright, cool. Now we're going, and we can... Thank you. Very cool. Alright. So, I'm so glad that you chose this instant in particular to show up instead of any other time. Alright, so you can go, and then you can go. And if this train just blasts through the intersection, then I swear I'm going to be very annoyed. Alright, now, it looks like we have it functional now. And then it's just a matter of all the rest of this oil stuff actually working now that the train shenanigans have been largely solved. And it looks like the supercomputer train sort of got the short end of the stick and showed up immediately after another one, which is probably just going to continue being a problem until we have so much of a buffer that this doesn't happen much. Alright, so where are those trains over there? Alright, so that's the Northern Oil and the ACU Oil, and they are stuck waiting at the intersection. And here's Northern Oil 2. Alright, so that's actually fine. So if we're getting 2 deliveries back to back, then hopefully it'll be able to keep up. This did end up getting some oil. Okay, technically some oil. Very cool. What a useful delivery. The old 0.1 oil. Okay. Now those trains over there aren't really going anywhere, because it looks like they keep getting preempted by these trains here. Maybe we... Okay, no, they did eventually get priority. That's nice. This is just going to be a busy intersection. I wonder if there's a way to fix this. Maybe. I mean, the fact that we've distributed it across a couple of intersections is already a pretty helpful boost. And the downside is that now all the trains want to exit through here, as opposed to exiting out there. So if we can just... Maybe we just don't make these two-way intersections. So if we just have this be solely an entrance, then that might prevent a lot of congestion. Alright. But it does look like it's, for the most part, working. I mean, none of these trains are all waiting a bit, but they're not waiting for like hours, right? And this is starting to stockpile a good number now. So yeah, I wonder if we should make this like more of a one-way street type of thing. I don't know, maybe. The problem is there are so many options, and it's hard to tell which one are optimal without like trying them and letting them sit there and run for like an hour. Alright, so that is all good. And the supercomputer crude oil is showing up right immediately after another train, which is definitely not ideal. But there is actually a lot of crude oil in the pipes now. So it's just going to be a matter of how much will it be able to get through. It only needs like a minute to fill up all the way. And it's not going to get a minute. But if this rate can stay stable, then that would be pretty helpful. If this rate of input can stay stable, we should be fine. I think. I don't know. I haven't done the math on how much oil we need, and the answer might be even more than what we have now. But who knows? It seemed like we were doing fine. It seemed like we were doing fine before we added the new stuff in. Okay, and now there is what appears to be a backlog heading that way. So let's go see if that's caused by anything other than just slow trains. Alright. It looks like it is moving along. Alright, so now this has been running for a bunch of cycles. I want to go and check if the northern oil is being fully utilized or if it is still producing more than it's outputting. So if it's still backlogged, we are going to add in a northern oil 3 train. And at that point, we're definitely going to have to do something about congestion, but hopefully we won't reach that point just yet. So off we go. And just got to make it over here and see what's going on. All right. Here we are. This is all looking... It's all looking like something that's about to fill up. And is that... No, that's a modular engine oil train, which is for some reason in this area. Okay, but there comes the northern oil train. So it is going to fill. And this is still running. So I think we're going to add one more train just for certain, so that there's definitely enough train throughput. But then we're definitely going to have to do something about, you know, unclogging the train network in general. And I think making things more one-way and less two-way will help with that. So that goes off, and we're going to, as soon as this leaves, add in another train. Alright, so we get a locomotive with 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Wait, no, it's 5, right? It's 5 cars. And this is Northern Oil 3. And it's going to do the same 2 stops. Oil Hub and Northern Oil. And here it's going to wait until it is completely filled up. And off you go. So hopefully that will deal with the last extra bit. Oh, and it's going to take an inefficient route, but that's fine. I think at that point we should be good to go. How much is this outgoing? So that is almost 400. That's almost 400. So yeah, we're looking at like 363 each currently, which is obviously a lot less than it could be. So we're going to move back down to the supercomputers now, and we can actually just respawn. So the goal of this episode is to continue working on the supercomputer factory, not spend all of our time messing around with trains. I think I might spend a little more time messing around with trains. So, what I think we could use is sort of an alternate way out. So currently everything is going on to this sort of main road here, which is by that roundabout. However, if I can make that less necessary, it would probably be very useful. So, this might be a terrible idea, but we are going to add a shortcut. Gotta wait for the train to be out of the way so that we can see what we're placing. Alright, there's another train there, which is going to make it hard. Alright, should be able to work like right about here, but it really doesn't want to. Alright, what if we make a tiny little segment there that it can snap onto? Alright, there we go. So now we have that, and we have that, which is an alternate way out for the oil trains. And we're just going to take this sort of over this way. And I've just realized this might be used as a shortcut for other non-oil trains. Hopefully that'll be fine. So this just goes along here, and it's going to be a bit scuffed. So this is very much a one-way escape hatch for the oil trains, just to make that a little bit faster. And actually, we could just make this a two-way thing. We could just grab this train line over here and attach it up. Yeah, let's do that. So now the oil trains won't need to really go in at all. Like, they can just fully ignore the whole cross-section over there if they want to. And this is going to be made a bit harder. Actually, we might want to just... No, that's not going to work. I was going to say we might want to just, like, disconnect the oil train input from the main line so that they definitely won't do that, but that might cause weird things to happen. Alright, so now we just bring this around, like so, and this is not the way I normally drag train lines, but it should be fine. Just go there, and then this one is going to come around to here. Alright, now we should be able to start using the regular old train blueprint for this. And we're going to have to, I guess, get rid of that. Oh, did I? How is I out of, not connected to power there? I was 5 inches away from where I currently am. Weird stuff. Alright, so this comes back this way. And we're in auto connect mode, so it's all working. And we just need to come over here. And this should be faster for the oil trains, but probably won't be much faster for basically anything other than the oil trains. So hopefully it'll be fine. And even if it isn't, they're probably not going to be going into the oil train stop itself. They're just going to be going like around it. So it shouldn't actually cause serious issues. So now this just gets out to here. And now we have to connect it up to this. So we go something like that. And then this connects up like that. Then we go across like that. And we get path signals in, block signals out. You're going to need to be a path signal as well. And then we're going to need a couple of signals on this line. So we don't need many, just a couple so that weird stuff doesn't happen. And so that multiple oil trains can use this shortcut at once. Alright, you are facing the wrong way. Please face the correct way so that the entire system doesn't break. Alright, we're just going to put like one more set of signals in over here. That should be a good spot for them. So, hopefully any oil-related trains will go here now instead of over there. And that will bypass the roundabout completely. Alright, so what is going on here? The water train is just doing water train things. This is... it's mostly filled up. So the next oil train to show up will be mostly full. Okay, and then we've broken something. Have you tried getting a block signal? Alright, why are you unhappy? Signal loops into itself. It doesn't, though? Maybe we just have to put the signal in there. No, it definitely thinks it's looping into itself. Which is objectively a ridiculous thing for it to think, because it's very obviously not. Okay. So you are also yellow flashing lights for looping into itself. maybe... Maybe there's something going on here, which is the problem. So, these block signals are fine. Now, if you were to go here, you would go down this way. Yeah, I don't know how it thinks it's looping into itself. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe you become a path signal? Maybe that solves the problem magically? No, it definitely thinks it's looping into itself. Alright, so what are we doing here that's different? What are we doing here that we're not normally doing? I mean, this is like a pretty straightforward setup that we have. Okay, maybe it's... Maybe it's this that's the problem. If we take that out, does it fix it? No, it does not. So we can put that back in then. How about we take that out? Doesn't fix it either. So you can go back in, and we actually want you to be more compact now. So now both of you are connected in like that, which is an improvement. Now we need to, once again, just take a look at this and figure out what is the looping here. I don't see any looping, so what we would expect to see for that would be... Okay, so it's this. So what it thinks is happening is that you can get into this from both ways. Okay, wait. This is going this way. It's meant to be going that way. So I think that is supposed to not exist. So that... Okay, maybe that is supposed to be facing that way? So if that signal is facing this way, it's going to say it loops into itself. Alright, I think I know what's happening. It might be because you can enter this block from both sides. It might be because you can enter this block from both sides. Alright, so if we just cut that line, does it fix the problem? No, it doesn't. So if we go over and we cut this line, like so, does it fix the problem? It does not. So the problem is something in here, which means that, well, theoretically it means that those connections should still be okay. Do we have proper block signals over here? Yeah, it looks like we do. So how does it think that it loops into itself? if we just make all of this back to what it was, it's probably because this can point both ways. Alright, so this is objectively, literally the same as when we started. Like, I've disconnected everything new that I built. And yet you are still saying you loop into yourself. What if I rebuild you as a block signal? What then? Okay, maybe it's this back here which is the problem. I mean, this looks normal though. I mean, it's the same as what it was. And it's also, if we just take out all of this stuff, it's literally just a T intersection. So yeah, this is just an ordinary T intersection, nothing weird about that. This is just an ordinary station, nothing weird about it. We have that, we have that, and we have that. Alright, so I'm just going to have to take that signal out entirely. Let that train through. And now this is saying it loops into itself. So we've managed to propagate the problem. Always a good sign. And pop that back in. And now it's contained the error to here. Yeah, this is absurd, because it's literally the same as all the other ones. Alright, maybe the new colors will reveal something to me. So, what it's revealing is that there's something going wrong here. Because we have this signal is the... This signal has got to be the problem, right? Because it's there, but we still have the continual block. So what it thinks is happening is that this signal can be accessed multiple times. So what if I just take that signal out? How about now? Is everything functional now? Yes. Now everything is back to normal. Now if I put this signal back in, pop that signal back in, and it's all good. Alright, cool. Fantastic. I hate that. But now it should all be functional again. And let's see if... Let's see if adding all this stuff on will break it. So we put that in. Those are still flashing yellow, but that's just because the failure is cascaded along the entire thing, and it should fix its. They should fix themselves once they have some time to cook. Okay, so in the meantime, we put that back in. Put that back in. And we seem to have broken it again. So we take that out. And now it's unhappy about this one. So we just have to rebuild that to get everything functional. So it really doesn't like the fact that we're trying to use like a small section of two-way rail, basically. So let's think here. How do we do this? What we still need is we need a shortcut in and out for all of this. Now they have a shortcut out, probably, unless this is also going to break something, which please don't. So we put that in, and it is going to take that way, because that's probably just faster for it. And we put that in, and neither of those have broken anything. Right. That all looks good. Alright, so the trains from these stations can go out, and they can either go that way or that way. And they're not going to get jammed, because this whole thing is one block. So even if they're both trying to go through, they'll go through in different directions, and it'll be fine. So I would love to see a train actually come through and do that. It would be very cool. And then, as far as loading the trains into this, we might just have to disconnect it and only have it come from one way. I don't really want to do that, but it might be the only option. Okay, so that is another train going along as usual. Where are these oil trains that I have? We actually have a couple of pure oil nodes like right there, which we could always just like pump those directly in and have that be better. Alright, so we have the Northern Oil train coming along here. Is it this one? Yes. So hopefully it will leave out that way and use the shortcut and solve the problem. Alright, so in you go. And it's all looking pretty good. Alright, so then this train will unload, and it should go this way, because that should be much more direct than going out that way and around and through all that nonsense. It should just go out that way. Alright, just takes absolutely ages to unload. But animation is almost done. Except for this last one, which is lagging behind for whatever reason. Oh, and then it finished instantly. Thank you. Alright, no, you're going this way. Why? Are you not aware that the option exists? You must not know that the option exists. Which is definitely frustrating. Maybe you'll figure it out. Alright, that's going along. We are getting a ton of oil in. So the good news is that we've probably solved the oil shortage, or at least very nearly done. So we're going to have to stop by the supercomputers and see if they do anything. Okay, now you also go out that way. So, what happens if we cut you So these ones can still leave this way, but these ones can only go that way. So when is the next oil train coming? All those guys are stuck in line. And okay, there's a train there. It doesn't look like there's a train stopped in it. I kind of expect this Northern Oil 3 train to be somewhere around here, but I'm not seeing it. Alright, so there goes the supercomputer crude oil, which is mostly full. I wonder if we should give the trains a bit of a delay, so like they just stop and wait for 10 seconds or something in the station, so that if this is filled up but this isn't, it has time to propagate across. Alright, Northern Oil 2 is back. And it should take the shortcut. Either that or it'll get stuck or something, but I believe in it. It can figure out the shortcut when it's given no alternatives. Alright, so that is doing that. It's unloaded. And it didn't even fully unload. Okay, signaling problem. So that's why they weren't taking the shortcut. Because somewhere along here there is a problem with the signaling. Alright, let's try just popping a signal there. See if that solves it. Does not. But it does throw an error. Alright, so that is loops into itself because I placed it in front of that sign. So if you get a signal there, you're still no exit signal. Oh, I know what happened. I absolutely know what happened. Alright, it's gonna be hard to tell where exactly it started, though. So what's happened is that the auto-connect has not functioned properly at some point. So we put that back in. And we put this back in. And no exit signal. Alright, so let's just take a couple of those out. And connect it up. Alright, somehow this problem still exists. I mean, this is definitely all connected. What on earth is going on? So you have... Oh, you're just facing the wrong way? Oh, I see what happened now. Okay. That's fine. We got a lot of these signals in backwards. Because we just got confused with the way we normally do stuff, but this is a weird little shortcut and not the way we normally do stuff. So let's get that in. And take that out. And then we need to disconnect this. And disconnect this because it doesn't actually exist. That railway, we're still trying to figure out how to do that. And then this goes there. Alright, now why? Now what is your problem? We've figured out an exit signal. Oh, so now you just need to be... You just need a path signal before this intersection, I guess. And let's have it be a little closer. Like that. And now, off you go. And let's get rid of that. So now you can just go in there. Okay, that's still just way too far back. That's ridiculously far back. You can go all the way up to there before stopping. Alright, so now we have that. Do we want to get this second half of this set up properly? So if we slide jump back to here, then we would need to figure out how to make all of the oil things enter from the same point, which, let's see. So we want to have the shortcut, but we also want to have the regular input. So the only way I can think of to make that work would be for the regular input to just, for the shortcut to make it back here somehow, and then connect in with the regular input there, which seems like a lot of extra work. I don't know how to even get that. We would have to go... We would 100% have to go vertical for that, which I'd rather not do, I think. Alright. But is there any other option? The other option is to just disconnect this and have the oil trains only go in through this system. No, let's... I don't want that. Let's do some subway design. So we need a ramp, and it needs to be a nice shallow ramp to go just 10 meters down. Probably more than that. I don't know. How far down do we really need to go? Is this low enough that a train can fit? Probably is. Oh yeah, plenty of space. So let's take that train out, because we definitely don't want it to be literally there. And now we have to get this railway up. Like that. And it turns too sharply. Okay, maybe it needs to be a bit over here. So if I have you go in like that, then that works. Alright, so then we just have to get this all lined up. So you go up like that. And are you a path signal? No, you're just a block signal. So we get you on there. And now this just has to go over this way, and we're going to have to do something about that. There is just a random belt in the way. Thank you, random coal belt. Very cool. So you can just go up to here temporarily. So we're gonna have to... I really don't like redoing things that I've previously done. And like dismantling stuff and fixing it. Because you never know when I'm gonna mess up and make it worse. But in this point, we really don't have much of a choice. I was never planning on going underground here, so I didn't build accommodating for it. So now it goes up. And across. Like so. And that should be plenty, and then we just send it back down. And then connect them back up to the other side of the coal belt. So those come out. This goes in. And there. Coal reattached. And now we can dismantle this and have our room for the train to go. Alright, and now it's past that. We just have to send it back up again. So, the old 1 meter ramp. I believe we were like 12 below or something. Oh, gotta be careful not to fly too far from the tracks. So just gonna bring those up with us. And I'm pretty sure we were 12 below, so let's add 2 more. And then back onto the level. Alright, so now we have that. And this comes back this way. And we have to take that out, put this in, and connect it back to there. Alright. So that should... that's kind of ridiculous. But, assuming that we get the signals right, so this should be going in, like this. And I think we've gotten the signals facing the wrong way here as well. So I just realized this one section of our entire train network is going to be British. That's awful. Is there something we can do about that? Not really. Not easily, at any rate. So we just have to make sure that these signals face this way. And these signals don't exist. And then just a couple more and the shortcut should be complete. And oil should no longer need to use the main area, which should help with traffic in general. Alright, so we just have to get this in. And it comes up to here and goes across that way. Wait, hang on. So this... We're driving along like this, and then we go there. So I do actually want that connection to exist, I think, because the trains are going to be coming from there. Alright. So that's obviously horrendous looking, but it's fine. At least it works. Assuming it does work, which I really hope it does. So assuming we've gotten everything correct, trains should use that as a shortcut and not have to... That'll just take the oil trains off of that intersection, which will speed up the oil trains a lot and every other train in the entire system a little bit. So now let's fly back to the oil trains and see if they actually come in that way and see how it's doing in terms of stockpiles. So we make our way over. And let's see here. These are actually... Some of them are full. Obviously some of them aren't. And we're getting more deliveries already. So if they were already full and then we received a fresh delivery of a full train, then this should be just all set. And the train goes off that way. And we're good. So now we have the automated control units, or adaptive control units, or whatever they're called. And they are going to get a full delivery of oil. And then there's plenty more for any other trains which show up in a moment. Alright. It would be real cool to see a train coming along this line, because then we would know that that's working. And it shouldn't be terribly long, since we have 3 of them now. Alright. Where are the trains? So this is the supercomputer crude oil. Coming in at a bit of an unfortunate time again. We're going to hope that this gets a significant amount filled by the time it shows up. Alright, so it gets up to like 1309-ish. So yeah, I think we want to get these trains to wait for like 10 seconds. A short wait like that shouldn't cause much problem, and it should just let this all fill in faster. So, edit timetable at oil distributor. 1 load unload has been completed, and wait for 10 seconds. Save changes, and we're actually just going to ride this train because we've done enough messing around with trains for the time being. It's time to go back to actually working directly on the supercomputers. And that's where this train is going. So we're going to hitch a ride. And do a bit of waiting, apparently. Oh, look, there goes a train. You can see off in the distance. It's behind another station right now, but there is indeed Northern Oil 3 is on the shortcut line. Alright, so problem solved. we have enough oil, and its transportation is quicker than it was previously. So now we just take this train, and we're here. Oh, I opened the chat somehow. Okay, now we are back here, and let's see how this is. Oh wait, this is Supercomputers? Yeah, this is Supercomputers. Alright, cool. So, oil. Oil was mostly empty, and then this train showed up. And the train didn't get a full batch, so it might be a problem. Let's check down here. What were you looking like? Oh, you still had a 400-ish in. That's a good sign. I do see yellow in a couple of spots. Why is that? So you aren't getting crude oil, but you're not even connected up. I mean, I guess technically all the oil here is connected. But you're not... You shouldn't be having oil problems. You should be being fed directly from pipes that are not... that are going to be at 600. Who knows? Who knows why that's happening? But at least we got a good solid delivery here. And now this should hopefully be stable. I mean, this is going up, which might be the cause for some of the issues, but probably isn't. Now this is definitely not going fast enough. Why are you so very slow? Okay. This is why I hate fluids. Like, for what reason? Why is it like this? So apparently, I've just like generally seen that 1.2 is a thing which apparently exists, and is apparently going to bring with it some fluid-related change. And boy, I cannot wait for that. Anything to change the fluids and make them work better will be greatly appreciated. Alright, I mean, this all looks like it has plenty of crude oil, which means that the problems here are something else. This might just be pipe speed issues, or no, these... Alright, so we're fine up to there. But you have... Alright. So I could have sworn I saw... Yeah, so you are 50 out of 50. And then you, right next to it, aren't getting enough. So what is going on between those two? I see. So they're two sets of balancing. Alright, so why would that be the case? And are all of these... No, it's just this one batch which is struggling. This one is technically a little low, but nothing to be worried about. Then that one is struggling, and this one is fine. Alright. This pipe is bouncing a lot. Let's try to just make this actually fully load balanced. So There are, what, 5 of these? That's going to make this hard. It's going to definitely not make this easy. But hey, at least we're getting more crude oil deliveries, and the previous one wasn't even very close to running out. So that's a good sign. That's a very good sign. So now you're going to be all full and working just perfect. Alright, how do we get this to work? Because the train-based oil is no longer the issue. Now it is the local oil. The pipes aren't getting up fast enough. So the problem is this pipe is not hitting high enough speed. Also this, we're just going to pretend that there's a floor hole there and move on down. So this, down here it's showing 590s. If we go over here, is this going to be a 300 there and a 300 there, both at 100%. That's at 100%. That's at 100%. This is at 98%. That's at 100%. So overall, I mean, this should be producing enough oil. Assuming our math is correct, it should be enough. And this is showing in the 580s and 590s. Alright, let's think. So this is apparently the issue, potentially, but even this one seems like it's at 99%. It's not like at 0 or anything. So where does the fast rate stop? Here it's 600. And it has to be 600 up this whole pipe. It's still 600 there. Still 600 there. It's 600 here. But not enough. Okay. Load balancing, right. So we have 5 of these. We have 5 of these batches, so each batch is going to be 120. So how do you split a pipe of 600 down to 120? And we only have regular old splitters, and we can't use smart splitters or anything because they don't exist. I think it's just impossible. Like, I actually don't think load balancing can be done here. Except if we were to do very fancy tricks, which I don't really know. If we were to do very fancy tricks, it might work, but I'm not understanding the fact that this isn't flowing at 600, but this is. Like, where is it all going up here just for fun? Like what? if okay, now that has just dropped significantly. Okay, so I have a plan which probably won't make things worse. I don't know if it'll actually help, but it should be, like, at worst neutral. So, what we need is to just add an additional pipe onto here. So you go there. You're going to be connected with something here, probably. So I want it to be connected, like, further back, because by this point that's a pipe of 600. So what if we just do that and take this pipe along here, and it is going to go around and connect in there, and then it'll also connect back to this, like that. And then it will also connect into here. Wait, no, that's the same one. So where's a different connection set? So there are 3. That's 1, which is connected back there. That's 2, which is connected there. And the third one is just this one guy over here, which is fine. It shouldn't be an issue. Alright, so let's take this extra pipe up. And we should be able to just pipe it up. There should be enough space here. We're going to have to go through that same floor. Actually, can we just remove this? Is this important? Not really. So those are floating now, but that's fine. So this is actually going to be an issue because now there isn't room in this area. Alright. What is going on here? What is all this nonsense? Why am I like this? Why didn't I just make something even, like, remotely normal and not unhinged? Alright, let's take that out. And take that out. So now this might cause some fluid-related problems with the water, but it probably won't. Now what was this? That was just connected across to that. Alright. So now this can come up there. And then go aside to that. Okay, that's no good because it's too close to the other ones. So you are going to get your own little wall there. Alright, now you go up just a bit more. Alright, so now what we can do is we can have this connect in to all of these pipes at various points after they split. So you can connect in to here, if we get that lined up correctly, like that. So now we have more capacity going this way. This will fill up, and it should all run. And that should in turn just sort of indirectly cause this to get more as well. Alright, you should not be getting 250 throughput. It's probably fine though. So yeah, now this does look like it is improving. Got up to 9.3-ish there. Then next cycle it gets up to 9.7-ish. Yeah, so that should be working. And is this one having similar problems? Yes, it is. So we just need to take this pipe over there and connect it up again. And again, after it would otherwise split, we can hook this in like there. And in there. Alright. So that should ensure that we have enough pipe throughput so that that isn't the problem. And now we're just gonna have to worry about like whether actual production rate is the problem. So let's do some math. We need we have 1350 crude oil incoming, and we have how many refineries? This is 30 times 4 is 120 times 5 is 600, 1200, 1800. So 1350 plus the 450 from the trains. This should be enough. And we shouldn't need to attach more into that one. That should just be fine. Alright. That's looking good. That's looking good. But obviously, these ones are the ones more likely to have problems. And they're also looking fine. That all looks fine. How about these ones? Are these ones looking good? Yes, even the ones which were previously 80%ers are now up to 50 out of 50. Alright, are you yellow? Oh, you're yellow because of output problems. That's encouraging. I love to see output problems when I've been struggling to get the input good enough for multiple streams now. Alright, so now we just have to drop down here and figure out what is causing those output problems. I saw yellow here. So you aren't getting enough fuel out. And I assume that's going to be the same over here. No, you are water blocked. So, why are you guys water blocked? Is this entire row having that problem? Yes. That whole row is short on water. Alright, so that's probably because of what I did over here. So that is a pipe of 600. This pipe has 0 in it, which it probably isn't supposed to have. This pipe is 600. Oh, this is probably the... This is probably... Yeah, okay, so I know what I did. And it was flipping these two pipes, which was the problem. So you need to go up and do something there. You need to go into that. And you need to just, like... do that, honestly. Let's see if that's enough. Alright, so now we have the water flowing again. This should go back to being fine. It's going to take a little bit, obviously, for stuff to flow through. But this is picking up. And we should be good now. We should be good, although it might take a little bit for manifold stuff to happen. It does look like it's improving. So this is filling up to have a good solid buffer. And yeah, should be all set. Unless the rate of water input slows down a lot, which it very well might. But at the very least, this is like 90% probably. And it's gone a lot of cycles still being in the 27s zone. And it doesn't look like that's necessarily changing. So I guess that's that. Now you would expect this to overfill some, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe that's like just in the special zone where it does that. Who knows? I don't know how the water works. But we go back to these, which are output blocked, which is a very different problem to be having. And then these ones are heavy oil residue blocked, but possibly getting better. We'll have to check back on those in the future. And let's actually just hop up here. So these get fed primarily from these ones, and these ones are all good to go. They get fed secondarily from these ones, which are starting to go yellow because of output blocks. Alright, so these ones are outputting to here as fast as they'll go. Why is this only like 200? This could be going a lot faster, but it isn't. Which, considering that... Oh, is there a valve in here? That's definitely something which I might have done. So you're output blocked, and you are potentially future output blocked. Is everything over here facing that same problem? Potentially. Not these first couple, but this is going down into this row. Okay, so this row is output blocked. Alright. I don't fully understand why these aren't getting the heavy oil residue, but they might be, and it's just a question of them getting warmed up first. And it looks like that might be the case. This looks stable-ish. Maybe a little less than stable. That got up to like 8.4, 8.5-ish. This cycle, it's only going to get up to 7. Yeah, okay, so this isn't stable. So how is the heavy oil residue not making it down here? It's probably... It could just be a manifold thing. Like, if we go here, these ones are filling up. No, it doesn't look like a manifold thing unless it's starting with this one. I don't know. It's hard to say. But this is why manifolds are the worst, and I hate them. You can just never tell whether something is broken or if it's just going to fix itself pretty soon. Alright, anyway, let's head down. So we had output blocked machines in here. Was it these ones? So, where do you go? Is it both of these on both sides of this row, or is it specifically on this side? It's specifically on this side. Okay, that's good information. And it's a lot of this side too, not just the last couple. It's like all of them except maybe this one. Alright, so if we drop down here, what isn't working? Alright, we see a couple of yellows here. What's wrong with you? You don't have enough rubber. Why do you not have enough rubber? Alright, so you don't have enough rubber either. That's the same problem. You are making 5.467. Oh, I see. Okay, so, hang on. This is only producing enough for, like, one of these two to run. It's producing enough for this to run, but not that. So, this does 10.934, which feeds the plastic for itself in this whole loop. But what we're missing is that this also feeds the plastic for this machine. So, gosh, that's weird. Okay. So this machine is 5.467, which is how many we need to feed this machine, which feeds back into here and across into here. But we also need an additional 30 rubber a minute to go over there. So this actually has to be 35.467. And that's actually just going to change all of the math. Alright, so that... Let's see. So I think this needs to primarily be feeding this machine. Yeah, this is complicated because these two setups sort of overlap a bit. And it's not just as simple as having some or none. It's a little bit more. So if that's 35.467, then let's actually see. 5.467, when it was this, it needed 2.734. So now that is 35.467. We need an additional 15. Yes, we need an additional 15. So this needs to produce an additional 15. So this needs to be 25.934. 0.934. Oh, right. And then this is that whole loop thing. So the total outputs is how we have to think about this. So this is 60 plastic output. And this is 16.4 rubber output. So that's 76.4 outputs total. Which means that these two need to make... gosh. How do I remember this? So that if we go back here, this is like a basic setup. It's 60 outputs means 40 inputs and then 20 additional inputs. So if this is 76.4 outputs, then 76.4 divided by 3. Okay, no, we have to do is we have to like add the two on top of each other. So this is a 60, 20, 40 setup. So let's get that just in. So we have a 60, 20, 40 setup going that way. And then here we have a 16.4. So this is 25.467. And this is times 2, 10.933. So this is 50.933. And then that takes 25.467 plastic. It produces 42.734. No, this is wrong. This is wrong somehow. I don't know what I did. Oh, did I get these two backwards? Yes, I did. So this isn't supposed to be the small one. This is supposed to be the 10.937. So this should be 30.937. This should be 45.4667. All right, does this work now? So we have 30.937 plastic production. That feeds 22.7 plus 8.2. Yes. 22.733 plus 8.2 would be 30.933. Alright, did I just do the math wrong? I might have just done the math wrong. So if you just make that 933 repeating, I guess it just can't go that precise. Alright, and then this produces 45.467 rubber, which is 15.467 plus 30. So it all adds up. We've fixed that problem and gotten this going. Now that will have increased production here slightly, which might accommodate the increased fuel demands for this row, but I feel like it won't, though. I feel like this is supposed to be one of the pipes which also goes somewhere else. So let's see here. Yeah, I mean, this is like hundreds of fuel that is unused, as opposed to where we just fixed like 10 or 20. So I think it's supposed to connect up with this row back here. So, because this isn't a fully 100% row, which means feeding it the output of a fully 100% row is wrong. So what we need to do is we need to take some of this, and I'd imagine that all these guys are low on fuel. Yeah, so we need to just do that. So that adds the additional spare from that production line into this, which should get it all working. And then all of this is linked up. So hopefully that just does it. So this is one of the outputs, and it's currently at 20% because of a lack of fuel, which has been resolved. You are fixed. You are fixed. You're looking good. And at this point, they were already doing fine. Alright, so then we have this last row, which hopefully will also be solved. I would be surprised if it all resolved instantly. Yeah, so back here, which is very far from everything, it's taking a while to trickle through. And we can resolve that by just making it not be very far from everything. So if we just pop a junction on there and bring it over here, give us some extra space to work with. And then snap that together. Should be problem solved. There might still be some fuel shortages like in the middle somewhere, but hopefully this should solve all the major issues. I feel like we're definitely making significant progress here. I mean, it's been another slow day of getting this plastic and rubber fixed, but I mean, there's not that much. Like, once the fluids are done, and once we're done with the plastic and the rubber, it's just a relatively small amount of ore refining left. And once we get that done, we have no more fluids and solids are easy. So we have a couple steps left, obviously, but we are, like, this is the big step. So I know it doesn't look like we're making spectacular progress, but I think we actually are doing fine. Alright, so back here, this heavy oil residue is still not working properly. So these are all at 100% except for that one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 40 times 12 is 480. Times 2 is 960, and then it's actually 950, right? So we have this row. We have this row here. And this row should be outputting over to here. And I don't know why it isn't. Alright, so we have this. We have that there. Okay, so this is 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. So this pipe should be 200 on average. And it's hard to tell because it's fluctuating like crazy. Like, it's up to the 300s, now it's down to 100s. It's hard to tell. But then, okay, we actually see some of these ones over here not working. And you're not working because you can't output your heavy oil residue fast enough. Alright, so this is just going to be a manifold situation. Because this row is like a lot. It's like 470. Might be more than that, actually. How much is in this row? 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320, 360, 400, 440, 480, 520, 560, 600, 640, 680, 710, 740, 770? That doesn't seem right. I counted wrong there for sure. So it's definitely not 7,070. So it's definitely not 770. It should be 760, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh no, it's just straight up 800. Okay. So, some of that 800 goes over this way, but not much. And then some of it... Alright, so I think the problem is actually too much is going over that way. Because I'm pretty sure I remember this was supposed to be 950... No, wait. Am I remembering wrong? This... How much does this need? So we have 200 coming in here. Can I just put a sign? I should get signs down. So this is supposed to be heavy oil, residue, 200. So that's what that's supposed to be. And is it actually that? Who knows. But it is 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. So assuming that none of it is disappearing magically, that should be 200. And that 200 is largely going down here. And then this is going to be another 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. So this is another 200. And these two batches of 200 are going to meet here and make 400. Which they don't really seem to be doing, but who knows. Maybe if we get valves in like this and like this, then we can control the flow so that they do what we want. Because there is currently a lot of flow in this pipe, which there should be 0. Like this pipe should not exist even. I might just take it out. No, wait, actually, maybe I do want it to exist. No, I'm just going to remove this pipe. Alright, so without that pipe, now anything coming from here will go this way, and then we'll go this way, and should be around 400. And it looks like it's fluctuating around 400, right? It's like down to 320, and then up to like 440. Yeah, who knows? It's probably somewhere in there. I mean, mathematically, that's just how much there is, right? So then, if that's 400, then this has to be 550 going this way. So that's 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320, 360, 400, 440, 480, 520. So this is 560 back here. So we can't get it perfectly, but what we can do is have a valve there facing that way, so that at the very least all of this stuff will go, so we'll get 540, and then we just have to hope that the additional 10 comes through. Alright. So with all of that in, is this still malfunctioning? Yes, it is. And is this still not outputting enough heavy oil residue? Yes, it is, but over here. Is this past that mark? So this is the mark I placed. So all the stuff over here is just a different problem, which we will get to solving at a later point. It's really this one and this one. It's these couple which is the problem. So let's get a floor hole in. And down you go. Because 550 is close enough to 600 that like there might conceivably be problems as a result of it. So this is going to do that. And there we go. That should resolve that problem. And yeah, now these are going to be filling up like crazy because we had whole backlogged machines. So that is petroleum coke, check. Hopefully. Alright, heavy oil residue is in. And these are, yeah, they're filling up nice and fast. And then this is filling up, and then we'll be good to go. And then from that point, it'll just be a matter of if these are working, which they look like they are. So I'm just going to assume that that is the case, and this heavy oil residue isn't going anywhere else, so it should be fine. So I don't know why some of these were having trouble outputting, but this seems to have at least alleviated that problem. And all the spare is going in where we need it to. Alright, so hunt for another problem. You are yellow. Why are you yellow? So you're having water troubles, but pretty mild water troubles, but still something that I would like to fix. So I'd imagine the couple near you are also having the same problem. Alright, so is there anywhere where we have like tons of water? Like excess water? So we have this whole industrial fluid buffer. And I mean, we have this, which might technically be a pipe that carries some water. Okay, so I think that water problem might just be a situation of the manifold getting too close to the center. So let's just try to solve that the easy way first. So we take this before all the manifolding starts happening. Bring the pipe back to here. And you're the one that's having the issue. So congratulations, you get a direct connection. So if the problem was just that sloshing was slowing stuff down too much within the manifold, that should prevent that from being an issue. If the problem was that there's slowness elsewhere in the system, then obviously this won't do anything. But it looks like it might be helping, potentially slightly. I don't know. It's hard to say because it was at like 90-ish% to begin with. Let's just see. This is showing a stable 600 per minute. And if that's the case, then this should be good to go. Now, why were you yellow just now? How are you not getting water? You're so close to the beginning. So we have 600 there, then it goes 300, 300, 100. Alright, so I guess it could make sense for you to be having issues, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan of that. Alright, so this is potentially even going up. Like, it got up to 29 there. And now it's going to be up to the 30s. Alright, so that might have solved the issue. I do potentially want to just find some more water and attach it in. Just to be sure, but I don't really want to do that, so if it's solved, it's solved. And I do see a whole lot of green lights along here. Oh, no, that one goes yellow. But it is one off from where the buffering was. So that is full now, which means hopefully this will now be getting excess water. And yeah, there we go. Okay, but now it's definitely not good. Yeah, this doesn't seem... It seems like this one here is having issues, but potentially that's being solved now. I mean, those numbers shot up like crazy just now. It seems very inconsistent here. Like, sometimes it flows quickly, other times it doesn't. But hopefully whatever's causing that will eventually disappear. We can just have functional systems. Alright. Maybe if we also do that same connection from here more towards the middle, it'll help as well. So we grab you, bring you along, and then put you into there. And maybe that will help a little bit. Obviously having these two right next to each other won't necessarily help all that much, but like having this be able to go this way and this be able to go that way will be beneficial. Because the sooner this whole system gets saturated through, the sooner it'll all be fixed. And this one looks like it is, maybe, barely got to 50 there. And now we get to 50 with a comfortable amount of time to spare. That's what you love to see. Just sitting at 50 for ages, so the pipes outside can fill up too. Alright, so now this is still at 83%. The fact that this hasn't improved at all is a bit worrying. I don't know, I think we're just gonna move on for now, just staring at that one machine as it continues to not be correct. Alright, now what are you doing? You are now not getting heavy oil residue. Alright, well that's not very nice of you. Why are you not getting heavy oil residue? Are these machines having issues getting it to you? Yeah, so these are all filling up like crazy. And where are they in relation to... Oh no, that was a different thing. Okay, this is unrelated, I think. Right? Hang on. These machines are the ones that are slow, and they're getting heavy oil residue from this pipeline, which comes from these machines. Now, are these having output-related issues? So we go over here. Where was that? Here's the valve that I placed. So on this side of the valve, we have 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280. And these are 50 each, right? 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. So we did the math right. There is the correct amount on this side of the valve. But why is it not getting to the machines then? That's 100%. 100%. All of these are looking like 100%. And yeah, at this point we've long passed the valve. So what's happening here must be that too much of it is going over this way, and filling these machines is diverting more heavy oil residue. But this has nowhere else to go but these machines, right? It's not connected up to anything else. Unless, like, it's doing some weird stuff where it's, like, backflowing up here, which is definitely impossible. We have valves there. Alright, so that shouldn't be a long-term issue. So the other thing is that maybe... No, so these are all doing fine, so it's not like they're filling this to the exclusion of those. It should be working. I don't know why it isn't. This is showing 130. Why is that as low as it is? Is it like filling this pipe or something? I guess maybe it's that the physical pipe hasn't filled yet and we just caught it at an awkward time. But you wouldn't think that would be a huge deal, because there's just so little pipe that if it is getting more than it needs, it should fill quite quickly. In fact, that pipe is full, and this one is filling. Hopefully. So I think we've just caught it at an awkward time, and it'll manifold out pretty soon. So that is probably not a concern. But it does unfortunately mean that we can't really check like what's going on with the fuel related stuff until it's fixed. Yeah, so this is definitely almost full. And once it fills, then it'll send the excess over there and we'll be stable again. So that is just now up to here, and we should be good there. Alright, now let's go back over to this water situation and see if it got resolved. So you're at 50. You're in the 20s, but you're also up to 96%, which makes me think that this is working. You're up to 97%. But your buffers are all lower than I would like. Basically across the board. Yeah, I think what I want to do is... We have spare pipes. At least currently, yes. We have these two pipes which aren't doing anything else. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just use one of these. So you come up here, and let's send it through a floor hole to do this right. And this means we're going to have to bring more water up for the refining step, but that's fine. So this has to jump up over that, go to here, then drop under that heavy oil residue pipe, which doesn't quite manage. So you drop down earlier, and go over there. And now you can come over this way. And there's no point going much further. You can just connect in there. And now that should be a solid supply of 600-ish water right from the middle, which should fill all this up and prevent future problems. Now, it doesn't seem like that's actually working, which is a bit annoying. Okay, what I actually want to do then is, if we take this back a bit, if we put this in there, and then just connect that across like so, then that should help a lot. So yeah, now you're filling up basically instantly, and that should get everything going. Alright, fluid problems. I really thought we were nearly done with the fluid problems yesterday, but now I once again think that we are nearly done with the fluid problems. And there's probably going to be a little more fiddling to do, because there's always more fiddling to do. And speaking of things that there's always more fiddling to do with, power situation, should probably head back and take a look at that at some point as well. But for now, I mean, this is all looking pretty much full. Alright, now, did I just see you flash yellow? Yes, you also want extra water. Okay, sure. We can do that. So this is going to be the extra water pipe. And we're just going to connect it across here. And then you can just go into there. And now obviously that's going to decrease the power of the extra water pipe, but it shouldn't even be necessary at all. Like, we should have enough water already. So just adding the slightest bit extra should completely resolve the issues. Okay, now why is there yellow flashing over here, and is it about to stop being a problem? Yeah, it looks like it's probably not an issue anymore. The extra water we've put in probably solves it. Who knows? It looks decent, but not incredible. It looks like it is going down ever so slightly, maybe? I don't know, it's hard to judge. Because you only get like a split second of looking at it when it is at any given point to figure out whether that's like the stable maximum point, or whether or not it's going to be decreasing ever so slightly from there. But this has hit 50. So if that's hit 50, then it's going to send more water over here, and now this is actually, yeah, this is about to hit 50 as well. And then this one is also nice and stable at 50, and we've probably solved it then. So that's probably all the water shortages dealt with. And things are still looking pretty much fine over here. So that's that. As for the petroleum coke, it's looking correct as well. And are these working again? No, not yet. Surely this must have filled by now. Doesn't look like it. Alright, so there's something I don't understand going on with these heavy oil residue machines not getting priority. Now, all of these are going at 100%, right? There's not some sort of issue there. And every machine in this entire row, right? Yeah, this all looks... I mean, let's skip a couple. So this row looks like it's going at 100%, which means we should have enough heavy oil residue to do both that and this at the same time. So then the only thing that makes sense is that this has to be going somewhere else or being overused somehow, which could be... It could be that that's taking 600 because this isn't doing as much as it should be. Okay, but this pipe is fully saturated. Is that actually a problem? That might be an issue. If we go back here, where's that? Where's the valve? We have a valve in here, right? Yes, okay, so these machines aren't outputting enough, which means that more is getting taken from this than there needs to be, which is the cause of the problem. Alright, so that is interesting. So what we need to do then is... we need to break this up in some way to force the ratios to be correct. Oh, I just had an idea. Is one of these underclocked or no? No, all of these are full. So these machines are some weird number, right? They're not all at 100%. Hundreds, 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 and 92.65. Alright, so if that is the case, then I believe we were sending 550 over this way. So what we need to do is we need to ensure that 550 gets split. So each of these is 40 output. 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320, 360, 400, 440, 480, 520. So that is 520. So we need an additional 30 on top of that, which is 3/4 of this. And then that would need... Hang on, is the math actually correct there? Because those are going to... no, they're going to be 250, right. So yeah, they only need 250 heavy oil residue, not 500. Alright, so we need 250 to go that way, and 550 to go that way. And we only have numbers divisible by 40. So we can fix this with just some overclocking and underclocking. So you are on this side of the valve, but if we set you to 30, that's subtracting 10. Then we move the valve over and put it there and set it to 0. So now we have exactly 550 going that way, and we have 240 going this way. So then we just need you to be overclocked a teeny bit. And now we have 250 going that way. Alright, that should be that. And it should be slightly more than we need as well, but that's because the polymer resin is weird and we need a bit more of that, and I did the math wrong when I set this all up. Alright, so this should very slowly, I mean, we're going to have, what, it's like 6 point something, 7 point something, yeah, we're going to have 7.35 spare fuel per minute. No, we're looking at heavy oil residue, not fuel. Stop being confused. We have 3 point something, 3.675 spare heavy oil residue, which will eventually cause this to filter through. Now, the good news is that it was already filled up, it was already saturated up to this point, which means that just by basic splitting, it should be okay. Like, these numbers look like they are going up ever so slowly, as do these. Alright, another problem solved. Now, do I see any other yellow lights anywhere? I don't see any in here. Alright, so now we go down to this floor where I do see some yellow lights over here. Okay, the lighting was funky there. Alright, so you are not outputting enough rubber. You're at 41%. Okay, so this isn't getting enough fuel. So we have attached fuel into this whole thing, but it clearly isn't going well enough. But it is 449, so I don't want to continue messing with the fuel. So let's just call it a day here. We've had a good productive day. We're slowly but surely. I know it looks bad. I know it looks like we've just sat here for another stream fixing the same bugs that we were fixing last time and running in circles. But we aren't running in circles. We are making progress. Like, things which were problems previously are no longer issues. If we keep up, we should be nearly there. We just have to figure out probably just this one fuel shortage, and then I see a couple other yellow lights back there. Okay, so yeah, we've still got a ways to go, but we're almost there. So thanks everyone for hanging out. You know, bug fixing like this is not what you normally think of when you think of like building a factory, but honestly, it's pretty fun. It's frustrating, but fun. So we're gonna just keep up figuring this out until it works. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, alternating between Satisfactory and Factorio. So I'll be playing Factorio tomorrow, and then on Friday we'll be back to Satisfactory. So if you're interested in Factorio, make sure to stop by tomorrow. Otherwise, you can wait until Friday. That's fine. But yeah, make sure to follow so that you know when I'm live and when I'm streaming. And that'll be it. Bye.